Hi everyone, Bernard here. I hope you're all staying safe and well, and welcome to the Citizen channel. We have a little special today. We have a double preview today. I mean, Pep's got his double pivot, so I'll have my double preview. So yeah, we've got to look at a couple of games today. So we're going to get through this as quick as we can. And what I'll do, I'll put a time up on the screen as well. So obviously we're going to look at the Newcastle game on the 26th of December at the Etihad, and of course we're going to look at the Everton game away on the 28th of December. So if you're interested in the Everton game, I'll put a time up on the time will be up on the screen there. So if you can just fast forward to that or go to that location and check on the Everton game if you're obviously watching this in a couple of parts. So if that's okay with you. Right, yeah, usual features today, including a look at both our opponents, of course, over Christmas. These two guys, Newcastle, that's a very famous game. A bit more on that later. Everton game there, a bit more on that later. That was my first visit to Goodison Park. Yeah, always an interesting place to go, wasn't it, Goodison Park? Yeah, so the usual features, our opponents, history boys, some history between us. Some value odds, please. I don't condone gambling, just a bit of fun. Some value odds that I've sort of spotted as I'm looking at the games. And of course, a couple of things on our regular magazine feature, but not a lot. Not too much at the moment with this time of year. Please, if you're new to the channel, push that subscribe button, push the bell notifications so my little vlogs are coming out. Please, any City supporting friends you've got, if you can point them in my direction, I'll be very grateful. Some links on the screen as well to Facebook and Twitter. I put loads of stuff on there, or if you just have to follow us or friends, just sign me up and I will reciprocate. I do check every 2 or 3 days, so I will follow and friend back, so that's no problem. Please check that out. And if you check my playlist, you'll see stuff on films and TV as well. I do little vlogs, information vlogs, reviews of films and TV. I even do look at posters and things like that. So if you're interested in that at all, or you might know somebody who might be, please get them over to this channel as well. It'll be fantastic. I have a little film and TV channel as well as this Citizen channel. So if you can do that, wonderful. Right, Newcastle. 8 PM, 26th of December, Boxing Day. Yes, Boxing Day. We've played them on Boxing Day before, haven't we? Yeah, BT Sport. It's on if you want to watch it. Of course, History Boys. Results at home against Newcastle. We played 83, 147, drawn 20. Lost 16, so not bad, is it? Goals 165 for and 82 against, almost doubled their goal tally there. That's quite impressive, isn't it? 165 for and 82 against. Yeah, of course, last time the Etihad, it was behind closed doors. It was post-COVID shutdown, wasn't it? 8th of July 2020, a couple of days after my birthday. Obviously, a 5-0 game, very easy win, wasn't it? Against a very, very poor Newcastle that day. I remember. I mean, City had 23 shots. Newcastle still managed 9, which wasn't bad, but on target City had 9 and Newcastle just 1, and we had 74% possession and a pretty super wonderful 93% pass accuracy. 93%. Yeah, Jesus, Mahrez, an own goal, Silva and Sterling made up the goals. So yeah, our biggest win. Don't have to go far back for our biggest win, do we? We had 3rd of October 2015, the 15-16 season, with a 6-1 win. 5 Sergio goals in that game. If you remember, I was there that day. If you remember, I don't remember them well, but you can watch the highlights on probably on YouTube somewhere. 5 goals between the 42nd and 62nd minutes for Sergio, with KDB got one in there as well, sort of mixed in with all that. And we were a goal down after 18 minutes, if you remember. That Newcastle game wasn't great. Our biggest defeat at home against Newcastle, 4-1 back in 1905, 1906, and a Boxing Day actually. So there you go, Boxing Day 1905. So let's not hope for a repeat of that one. Herbert Burgess, our FA Cup winner, Herbert Burgess, got City's consolation in that defeat. So 4-1's not bad, is it? It could be worse. And of course, I can't leave this without mentioning. I mean, I've covered this in my City Pass features. I mean, this game here against Newcastle, of course, 1977, and I've got a little special coming out on Christmas and New Year, 77-78. But I'll tell you about that later. Of course, an inspired 4-0 win and one of the most iconic games in City history. That, even though there wasn't much on it, was there? But it was a second comeback of Colin Bell. We were reminded of that by Gary James when I was doing my little Christmas 77-78 feature, which will be out very soon, or will be out now if you're watching, depending when you're watching this. Yeah, the emotion at Main Road that day, I mean, it's up there with my, obviously I started going in the mid-60s. It has to be up there in my top three, perhaps, of, probably top five, perhaps, of emotional times at Main Road, but fantastic. So, yeah, you can't really, that was a nice 4-0 win. So a repeat of that'll be okay, won't it? That'll be fine. Yeah, but more of that later on anyway. How are they doing? Well, they're out of the League Cup, aren't they, as I'm recording this? They got knocked out a couple of days. The same night we beat Arsenal, they got knocked out by the mighty Brentford, didn't they? They sit 12th in the table. Away from St James's, they played 6, won 2, drawn 2 and lost 2. So obviously, hopefully it'll be lost 3, won't it? Their wins have come at Palace and West Ham. But the last away game, they got really hammered by Leeds 5-2. Then obviously went and got hammered by another team, didn't they, called United, just down the road after that. But and the draw with Fulham was a pretty dire performance overall. Off the pitch, of course, the Middle East takeover sort of fell through, but there have been some appeals made, etc., and there might be others interested, so that's going to rumble on for a while. And if it just keeps Mr. True Geordie unhappy, that'll do for me. Most pundits, I believe Steve Bruce is doing a good job with what he has, but I mean, haven't most managers the last few years, but any chance of him doing any free-flowing football, they had probably weak. I mean, they did sort of have a goal last time, so you never know. But after us, they face Liverpool and Leicester, so it's not going to get any easier for them, isn't it? Alan Saint-Maximin and Jamal Lascelles, a couple of their better players, have suffered from COVID and are recovered, but obviously I don't think they'll be fit to play in this one. And I think their goalkeeper, Martin Dubravka, will also miss the game. He's got a heel injury. Yeah, max officials for this one. Mariner's a ref, Andre Mariner. Assistant Scott Ledger, Richard West. Fourth official, Andy Madeley. VAR Lee Mason. He can't do too much damage as fourth official, can he? VAR Lee Mason and assistant VAR Matthew Wilkes. Yeah, I mean, it should be. My little thoughts. I mean, it should be a comfortable win for them. We don't win this. I mean, obviously these games, aren't they, where we say we don't win this, we don't deserve anything, do we? But a comfortable win is expected. I'm not going to go mad with my little score and lineup. But of course, I think Pep will have one eye on the game on the 28th of December. We're going to go on to in a minute, the Everton game. So, yeah, that's in theory a more difficult trip. But hey, don't take, we've got a good enough team to beat these, even if we've even rest 2 or 3 of our better players, if you like. So, yeah, my little predicted lineup: Ederson, Walker, Diaz, Stones, Mendy, Rodri, Bernardo, Foden, Sterling, Jesus and Torres, if they're all fit. As I say, I'm not too sure after the last game. I think Gundogan, KDB and Cancelo will be safe for Everton, but obviously will be on the bench. Aguero, I think, will be on the bench, but he'll get a little bit longer this time to play, I think, than he did in the last game. Against Arsenal. And if Stones and Diaz come through against Everton, would that be the partnership? But I'm not going to be surprised if Mr. Laporte makes an appearance in one of these 2 games. But we'll have to see, won't we? We just don't know with Pep. One minute he says he doesn't drop players. If they're playing well, he'll play them. The next minute he drops players. I have no idea how his mind's working at the moment. As I said, I don't expect a particular goal fest. I mean, I'm going just for 3-0. 3-0 is my score on this one. Hopefully it'll be 5 or 6, but I'll go for 3-0 on this one. And that leads me on to the odds, doesn't it? Let's have a look at the odds. I don't condone gambling, and please, when the fun stop. And never ever gamble more than you can afford. I don't. These are just for fun bets to keep an extra interest for me. Just the odds on the Premiers, a matter of interest. I did this yesterday. I'm not sure. I don't think they would have altered much. Liverpool are now odds on to win the Premier title at 10-11 after City sneaking into favouritism a couple of weeks ago. It's amazing, isn't it, how long a couple of weeks is in football. City are currently 5-2. If you fancied Newcastle to win the league, 2,500 to 1. So if you put a quid on, you lose a quid, obviously. And 4-1 to be relegated. So that's an interesting one. Probably could lay that, couldn't you, if you didn't fancy them to be relegated? Because I'm sure they won't. And Steve Bruce is 20-1 to be the next manager to leave a Premiership club. So he's not the favourite, but certainly not exactly high up. He's not exactly safe, but there you go. Match odds: City to win 1-8 on, 9-1 the draw, 25-1 for Newcastle to win. First goal scorer, absolutely no value whatsoever. Everyone's very low figures or odds on for that one, so I'm not even going to bother with that. It's quite rubbishy. Sorry, not the first. That first goal scorer. That's when that's anytime goal scorer. Sorry, first goal scorer. Still, it's all the obvious guys. So there's no real value in that. Both teams to score. Yes is 6-5. Do you think Newcastle will score? I'm not overly sure. No is 8-11. That's probably more likely. 8-11 could be worth a little flutter, but hey, there you go. Because I'm going for the correct score. I'm going for 3-0, which I've already said is 6-1, so I'm going to have a point on that. And 2-0. All right, I probably could have gone to 4-0 rather than 2-0, but I'll go for 2-0 at 13-2 and 1 point as well, on the basis that you might be saving themselves for Goodison Park. A 3-1 City win is 11-1, and a 4-0, which I did fancy. That's 8-1. I won't put you off that at 8-1. Half time and full time. Well, City and City is 4-9 on. No real value in that. A draw and City to win is not bad at 7-2, but you don't really think we will be drawing with Newcastle at half time? Let's hope not. And yeah, my other bets on this, I'm not going mad on this Newcastle game. Anytime goal scorer, Diaz is 15-2. Stones is 10-1. I'm fancying, but I've gone, if he plays, I'm not sure he will play. I've not put him in my team, so I'm probably a wasted bet anyway. But I put Cancelo at 13-2 at any time goal scorer if he plays. So I'll put a point on that as well. Before we leave that, I mean, the under-over markets, under 3.5 goals in the game is 10-11, and that's not a bad value. I think obviously it end up as 3-0, but yeah, we'll probably sneak 4 or 5, won't it? But it could be 0-0, couldn't it? But that's not a bad price if you fancy that. If you fancy under, as I said, I think one eye's on Goodison Park. I don't think it's got, unless Newcastle are totally dismal and rubbish and don't make any effort whatsoever, I think it might be under 3.5. So that's not a bad price, 10-11. But they're my bets anyway. Right, so that's that one. Right, now on to the Everton game. Yeah, Everton, Goodison Park, 28th of December, 8 p.m. kickoff. This is on Amazon Prime, so we get all the time delays, etc. Bit of the history, boys. We've played them 87 times at Everton. I'm not sure they've all been at Goodison Park. I don't think they have. I'm not sure. Might be, might not, I don't know. I'm not sure on that one, but we played them away anyway, 87 times. Won 21, drawn 23, and lost 43, so we're not done so great at Goodison. Goals 497 and against 150, so we've been pummeled a few times as well. Our last trip to Goodison was September 28th, 2019. A comfortable-ish win in the end. It certainly wasn't comfortable all the way through, though. It was certainly the last 20 minutes when we'd had a couple of goals. Obviously, we won 3-1 with Jesus, Mahrez and Sterling, but certainly at 1-1, it was a bit nervy, and it would say more comfortable the last 20 minutes or so. Our biggest win at Goodison was back in 1928-29, a 6-2 victory with 5 goals by a guy called Tom Johnson in that one. He actually scored this, an interesting one. I might do a feature on him in the future. He scored 38 goals in 39 league appearances that season, 28-29. And ironically, he was sold to Everton and helped them defeat City in the 1933 FA Cup final. But there you go. That the other score was Brook that day. So that was an interesting one, isn't it? It might be worth a look at. But 38 goals in 39 league appearances. That's not bad going, is it, from Mr. Tom Johnson? Our biggest loss was 9-1 back in 1906, 1907. No, I wasn't there. No, don't start. I wasn't there at that one. 3rd of September 1906. Fisher got our solitary goal that day. We did get a modicum of revenge that season. We actually beat them on Boxing Day again. A lot of Boxing Day featuring today. We did actually beat them 3-1 at Hyde Road on Boxing Day that season. So even though they stuffed us 9-1, obviously we did get a little modicum of revenge that season. My first visit, yeah, the programme's there. Yeah, as I said, you always have to watch your back, and you probably still have to be wary, don't you? Still have to be wary now, don't you? But certainly in those days, it was 15th of November 1975. A 1-1 draw with Tommy Booth getting City's goal in his legendary red and black stripes. I mean, actually, red and black stripes, if you watch my feature on the playlist that I did a few months ago, was a little feature on red and black, obviously, on the first time we wore red and black stripes was at Goodison Park. So if you sort of dig that up, that's a quite interesting feature as well. The lineup that day: City was Corrigan, Clements, Donachie, Doyle, Watson, Oakes, Barnes, Booth, Royal, Hartford and Chewett, and the sub was Paul Power. So, yeah, good 1-1 draw at the end. A bit nervy. I say it's my first trip to Goodison. I had more worries about how I was going to get home alive and stuff like that, which is a shame. But that's how it was in those days when you're a young lad, 14, 15. You think you get a little bit worried. You've seen the trouble, and obviously sometimes you're just watching your backs and you're not 100% concentrating on the game. So I won't say what the game was like, but I do remember us scoring, so that wasn't too bad. So there you go. How are they doing? What are they doing this year? Well, they're out of the League Cup as I'm recording this. I have no idea how they went out, but I know United obviously beat them because we're now playing them in the League Cup semi-final. But I have no idea how it went, the game. I'd have no interest whatsoever. I just catch things on Twitter, but obviously we're working early hours. I had quite an early night last night, so I was sort of well away in the land of fairies by 8 or 9 o'clock. So I missed how they went out, but they are out of the League Cup, and I don't believe it was a great game from what I've saw on Twitter. Yeah, had a great start to the season. They did head the league briefly, didn't they? And they did have a slight drop of form, but they've starting to turn into another good run again. So just before the Boxing Day games, they're actually hold 4th spot, so they're doing quite well. They won 4, drawn 2, and lost 1, both home and away. So the record at home is just the same as it is away. They've been linked to Isco. How dare they? How dare they be linked to Isco? I thought he was a City player, but that's made me laugh when I saw Isco to Everton. I thought, oh well, there you go. We've lost him. We've lost our man. I thought he was a City player for the last 10 years, to be honest with you. Yeah, Ancelotti, yeah, he's done all right. He's had over a year, hasn't he, to get some consistency into this Everton team. He's made some shrewd purchases, so yeah, they're never to be underestimated by us anyway. But he's doing okay, isn't he? I mean, all right, he might be in a bit more jeopardy after last night because obviously I think they thought they might have a chance at a trophy. But there you go. Yeah, my little thoughts. I mean, despite recent successes at Goodison, I think this is a really tough one. Fortunately, defensively, we look far better than we have in previous seasons when we've gone there, especially in the air. We know Everton have always been strong in there, and they've always had a hard-working ethic, Everton, haven't they? And they've got players that can really hurt you if they're truly at it. I mean, I think we've been victim of some long-range goals and stuff in the past, haven't they? I don't think they'll be negative. I think they'll be quite positive, and I expect a very similar task to challenge from the Southampton game, to be honest with you. At St Mary's, I think it's going to be a very similar physical battle, but a good amount of skill as well. So I think it'll be quite interesting because Everton seems to have an inferiority complex, don't they, against certain teams. You sort of the Liverpools and the Uniteds, certainly at Goodison, they do struggle a little bit, but they don't have that against us, do they? They don't have any sort, even though our record recently has been a lot better at Goodison, they don't have any sort of inferiority against us, and they will be confident that they can get something. I'm sure Ancelotti will sort of get them up for it. I think I'll be happy with a draw, but I'll be honest with you, that'll be not much use to us, is it? A draw, we've got to... anything less than a win will be a bit of a blow to us. So, yeah, although I would be happy with a draw, and it's not a bad draw at Goodison, is it? But as things stand at the moment, if we want to challenge for the title, we have to start winning these sort of tough, hard games, don't we? My score prediction, well, I'm going for a 2-1 win as my main score prediction for this one. Let me know what you think. Match officials, referee Martin Atkinson, assistants Lee Betts and Constantine Hatzadakis, the name I always have trouble with. Fourth official is Chris Kavanagh, and on VAR we have Mike Dean, and assistant VAR we have Darren Cann, so that's obviously upset a few people now. Yeah, I'm not going to bother with the lineup on this one. We'll see who comes out of the Newcastle game, and so I won't actually do a prediction for the lineup for this one. If you want to try, then do one. Or if you're watching this after the Everton game, stick us a comment on what prediction of the team you think. And on to the odds, please. I don't condone gambling, and when the fun stops, stop. And please only ever bet what you can afford. But the quick look at the odds on this one. Interesting. I mean, even though they're doing quite well, the odds to win the Premier League, Everton 100-1. So that's not too bad, is it? But yeah, and Ancelotti was one of the safest managers. I'm not sure if he's dropped a little bit after last night's loss to United, but he's 66-1, same as Pep, to be the next manager to go. So he's fairly safe in his slot. I think the fans like him, so he'll be okay. The match odds. Yeah, it's 4-7 on for a City win. That's not bad. Not a bad price. Getting up to well, it's nowhere near, not quite evens, but it's not bad. 10-3 for the draw and 4-1 for an Everton win. I mean, first goal scorers. Yeah, you've got Aguero. Is he going to be fit by then? I think he'll get a few minutes, as I said, against Newcastle. Will he be firing for the Everton game? I'm not too sure. 10-3 on Aguero. Sterling's 5-1. Calvert-Lewin, if you fancy Calvert-Lewin of Everton, he's 15-2. Yeah, they're the sort of more interesting prices. Both teams to score. Yeah, as I said, my prediction's 2-1, isn't it? So I do think both teams will score. And you can get 3-4 on for a yes. So I'm going to have a couple of points on that. Yes, 3-4 on. I'll have 2 points on that. If you fancied no, if you think someone will keep a clean sheet or it ends up in a 0-0 draw, it's 6-5 against. So that's not a bad price either. Correct score, well, I've gone with the 2-1. That's 8-1, so I'll have a point on that. And I've also gone to 3-1, a bit more comfortable, same as last season at 12-1. I've had a point on that as well. You can also get 8-1 on a 1-1 draw and 16-1 on a 2-2 draw. If you fancy Everton to win 2-1, you can get 18-1 on that one. That's not a bad price, is it? If you're an Everton fan, 2-1, it might it would be even more for a 3-1, won't it? That'd be interesting. Half time, full time. Yeah, I'm gonna have another go. I'm gonna have a go on this again. I've got a draw in City actually. That's 10-3. So I'm gonna have a point on that. That it's a draw at half time and City to win by the second half. If you fancied City to be leading at half time and full time, that's 11-8. If you fancied a draw, half time, full time, that's 6-1. If you fancied Everton in a draw, which is an interesting one actually, if City would have to come back, that's 16-1. So that's another interesting one. Anytime goal scorers. I've not gone for anything. KDB's gone out to 7-4 again, so that's not a bad price because I think he'll definitely be playing against Everton, and he's got to get his shooting shoot boots on one day. Calvert-Lewin's 11-5. Diaz and Stones are interesting ones, aren't they? As I say, you're sort of waiting for him to score from a chance, aren't you? Anytime soon. So you've had Laporte doing it, haven't we? So why not Diaz and Stones? So that's 10 and 12-1. 10 for Diaz, 12-1 for Stones against his old team, which sometimes works out. Certainly against City it works out. I'm not sure it works out for us, unfortunately. Yeah, the under-over market's over 2.5 goals. If you think it's going to be 3 goals in the game, it's 4-6. That's not a bad price. And if you fancy 4 goals or more, yeah, why not? I think Everton will be expansive, so it can be a good game. As I say, be very Southampton-like. I think Everton will have a goal. So over 3.5 is 13-8. So that's, again, if you fancied that, I wouldn't put you off doing that. And both teams to score first half that's quite an interesting one. Have you got one? That's just one of the stranger bets. Both teams to score first half. Yes, is 10-3. That's interesting. I've not got on it, but that's another interesting little one, isn't it? You fancy both teams to score in the first half. As I said, I think they'll both go on for that. So yeah. It will be difficult. As I say, I think it'll be very similar to the Southampton game, that one. And anything on my little regular Cities magazine feats, just a couple of things to comment on. Of course, interesting squad images there, wasn't there, with this COVID thing? It's a bit silly, really, isn't it, when the players are hugging and kissing each other every time they play and stuff. But yeah, I mean, this overhead shot, I suppose it's the principle of the matter, isn't it? But I don't that one didn't impress me anyway as a team photo. I thought that was pretty rubbish, to be honest with you. We're not really here for the Newcastle game. I'm not too sure what the lineup is for the Everton game, but for the Newcastle game, you got former centre-forward duo Paul Dickoff and Sean Goater's back as well. So we like Sean Goater. They'll be guests on the live matchday show along with the presenter Kyle Walker, not the player, obviously, the presenter Kyle Walker and Natalie Pollock hosting proceedings. For the Newcastle one, starts an hour before kick-off, of course. He chip in at half-time and they're on for a bit after the game. And, of course, for the Newcastle game, yes, we have the regular memorial service, don't we? So the minute silence for... to remember fans and officials connected with City who died over the last 12 months. So that's always a nice thing and a nice gesture. And obviously, I did do that 2 or 3 weeks ago. You could have contacted City and got your person's name up for that. So I hope you did. And yeah, that's a nice gesture. It's always a nice gesture to sort of watch that. Yeah, so that's about it, guys. Thanks for watching. I'll be back with a match review, of course, for the Newcastle game on the 27th, and I'll be back for a match review of the Everton game on the 29th, respectively. And there's lots of bits and bobs. Check my playlist there. You can see There's a special moments in time, as I said, they're just coming out or is out, depending when you're watching this, on Christmas and New Year, 1977, 78. Yeah, we've always had tough schedules. I mean, even go back further than that, they were always tough schedules. But it was quite an interesting one over 77, 78. As I say, it did feature this certain game, but even some of the other games were quite interesting as well. So please check that out. Anyway, thanks for joining me today. Please, whenever you're watching this, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, depending on what you're watching, when you're watching, etc., etc. 2020, we're looking forward. Soon be in 2021, won't we? So, thanks for joining me for this little special double pivot, big match, double preview. So, please, whatever you're going to do with the rest of it, have a great one. Please, as I said, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, whatever to you and all yours, and all stay safe and well. Please look after yourselves, look after your friends, look after your families. Let's all look after each other. And hopefully I'll see you again here very soon, again on the TV, on the Citizen channel, or perhaps you'll flit over to my film and TV channel. Have a look at that, have a see what my thoughts are on film and TV. That'll be fantastic. Please, whatever you're doing, stay safe, please. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.